How's everybody doing? Elsen, Jason Andera, welcome to this Varsity Sports Now Web Extra, talking South Dakota boys basketball tournaments. Those taking place here Thursday through Saturday across the state of South Dakota. As always, tournament sites remain the same: Rapid City, Sioux Falls, and Aberdeen. We start in AA in Rapid City, Jason. Pretty impressive bracket here, and as we've seen in AA all year long, we don't really know anything.
You know, we don't. I think we've figured out that Stevens has played a really tough schedule this year, and for the most part, they've learned how to win close games, which they didn't know how to do last year. We've learned that Huron probably hasn't had quite as tough a schedule, but every test they've had, they've passed. They beat Pierre a number of times this year, I think 3 times total. They took Rapid City Stevens on the road, very tough team. And Roosevelt, that's a team that lost to like a Marshall, Minnesota, but really in-state, only a couple losses. And those are the 3 teams that really seem like they're the cream of the crop.
And the Riders, to me, are impressive just for the fact that they lost a lot after last season.
Yeah. Well,
and so a lot of people kind of wrote them off, and Lee Taylor's got them right back here in the tournament as a legitimate contender.
I think that's a team that could cause some problems in the semifinals for Rapid City Stevens. And maybe, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season. I think that could be a really key point. Whoever wins that game can't expend too much energy, especially if they see Huron on the other side of that bracket, which, talk about first-round matchups, that Huron-Lincoln game is going to be one of the best games that we see, I think, all weekend, because Lincoln is one of the only teams that can match up with a Justin Decker and another big man on the inside for Huron and Caleb Carr. 2 guys above 6'6". That's tough to match up, but that's one team, Lincoln, that can go down low and go guy for guy against those guys.
Well, let's take a closer look at this tournament, Jason. It's just the quarterfinal round. The 8 teams that are in as of right now, all 8 have a chance to win this thing. Who's got the most interesting, maybe the best first round game?
Well, we just talked about that Huron-Lincoln game. I can't wait to see that one. But the 4-5 matchup is always interesting as well. Pierre is a team, only a small handful of losses this year. In fact, a better record than their last year's team that won it all. And they've got, I think the whole team averages 7 points, between 7 and 10 points per game. That's an interesting battle. Washington, on the other hand, a team that nobody thought would do anything this year, and they've risen to the challenge time and time again. A very tough schedule. Brett Stanley, a 17-point scorer, so you've got a very balanced team with Pierre going against a team that really relies on Brett Stanley to do the scoring.
Are the Warriors your biggest surprise coming into the tournament?
Well, they could be the biggest surprise in the first round. I mean, a 5 beating a 4 is not a huge surprise, but I think that's probably the only upset I see in the first round.
But given their recent history, the fact that they're here and the fact that they've had the season that they've had with a relatively new coaching staff.
Getting here, yeah. I mean, what they've done has been really impressive. I had a chance to talk to Craig Nelson, the head coach of Washington, and ask, when did these players buy in? And he told me, I think they bought in last year. We just didn't see the results last year. This year, it is really paying off. People know their roles. Brett Stanley's taken over. Sam Saganos is one of the best point guards we never talk about. They've got a really good group there at Washington.
Well, and then there's the extra factor, the fact that this tournament's being played in Rapid City.
Yeah.
Stevens is awfully good. How much of a role do you think that'll play in all this?
Well, they are really set on bringing some pride back to West River. Stephen Schaefer said that all season long. And they've, like I said, they've won close games this year, and that crowd is going to give you the edge in those close games. And if they have 2 or 3 close games in a row, they're going to be relying on those fans, and I think that could be a big role in them succeeding or not succeeding.
It's about who puts 3 games together.
Yep.
And so any number of teams in this tournament literally could do that.
Oh yeah. Really, the only team that would surprise me is Sturgis. They've got 3 guys in double-digit scoring, but I would be surprised to see them advance, especially past the semis.
It's going to be a good tournament. It's going to be interesting, as always, in Class AA in Rapid City. Quarterfinals get underway, 12 Mountain on Thursday.